This is December 3rd. It is Tuesday, advanced class. It's going to be a short video. You can tell from down there. I just wanted to cover a couple things with you real quick to try and make things better. Basically, today we're working in class, but I wanted to touch on a couple of things with outsiders that before I got a chance to see quiz tomorrow, which covers up to the end of Chapter 4. We're going to talk about a little things here in just a moment. Socrative is still open if you need to do it. You can sign in and do this one from yesterday. We had to answer the questions and send them in. It is for a grade. If you don't have it done, it does come back to haunt you and I get to yell at you and stuff like that. All right. With the outsiders, a couple things to hit with you again as you are finishing. If you finish through Chapter 4, then you're good to go. If you're still reading up through Chapter 4, then you should know this, because a lot of this pops up in Chapters 2 and 3, plus one other thing I need to hit in a second. The Cools, they talk about Dally going and shoplifting at the very beginning of Chapter 2, because again, Dally, L, loser, and the Derry, R, brother. And so Dally's the one that goes and shoplifts because not a good person.
They're both bad.
Derry's not a bad person. He just hit a child.
Just he is. He's a bad person.
Hitting a child is wrong.
Who hits the kitty? Don't spoil it.
And so,
read it then.
Yeah, it's probably
again, not feeling bad about spoilers day before quiz when you've had like a week.
I'm reading it today so I get better big brain.
Yes, that sounds like something. Again, they talk about going to the drive-in restaurant. It's going to pop up again later in the story too. Is where you get to park and get out and run around and stuff like that. The drive-in movie theater plays the big role throughout Chapter 2 into 3. It's where they meet Cherry and Marcia, the two Soch girls. They have like the walk home that we're going to talk about here in a moment. It's again where you get to park and get out. They're not in cars because the girls aren't in cars because they got in a fight with boyfriends. The boys aren't in cars because they don't have one. They just walk in there to sneak in. Yeah.
Can we agree to call these socialist socks?
We can agree to not call them that, but you can do that in your head.
Agree to disagree.
And then again, the gas jockey is where they talk about the job where you get to go and run up and pump the gas. And so again, not around here, unfortunately, but it used to be a thing back in the day.
Did you like it?
My grandma used to use it back in the day because she wouldn't get out of her car. So you used to use it. Who's driving the blue Mustang?
The evil guy.
That's when we find out is the boyfriends who show up and track them down. The Beatles haircut, again, is the shaggy, it's shorter now, nicely done. It's the shaggy haircut where they give him a hard time and stuff like that. Yes, he has a good yes. I'm not throwing shade, I'm just saying it's the shaggy haircut. I mean, the Beatles were awesome, so being compared to them is not a bad thing.
Why are there baby hair?
And then again, the busted bottle where they do the whole thing. This is when the Sochas show up and you have Pony Boy and Johnny and
Bob.
Johnny.
it's the other
Rob.
Soda Pop.
Rob.
Not
No,
Rob. Rob's a made-up name.
It wasn't
But-
soda pop.
It was a two-bit.
Two-Bit. That's who it was.
I told you you were wrong.
Two-Bit was the other one. Sorry, the bad kids were louder than you yelling Rob.
It's Bob.
I found a picture of a guy who got stabbed by a bottle because it makes the little like looks like a claw thing.
Ew.
So it looks like that's a
kind of
belly
nice.
button.
He's really hairy.
They
Nasty.
talk about playing snooker, which is a form of pool, but it does not have like a hole
That's
for the
not
ball
what
to go
we
in.
thought.
I don't know. It's a form of pool, but they talk about going over and Dally plays snooker. And so if you've never seen snooker, completely understandable. This is the game they're talking about. It looks like pool, but it only has red balls and a black ball, and it's all about like bouncing them and angles and math. And I don't know, it's all confusing.
Dumb.
The fountain in the park, the big scene that comes up in Chapter 3. And that's when
where Bob comes
again,
in.
they're not talking, when they say the water fountain, they don't mean the one we have in the hallway here, when you're like, it tastes like metal. They're talking about here, where it's like you can throw pennies into it and you're like, kasploosh, kasploosh. That's what they're talking about. Because they talk about someone getting into the water fountain, and if you're thinking like the ones in our hallway, you're like, I'm like perching like them. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about big splash splash, something along those lines. Think,
Rusty.
water fountain. And they talk about Blue Jeans jacket. Because after that, I think it is Dally who ends up giving Pony Boy a blue jeans jacket.
Yeah.
And if you're not familiar with the coolness of a blue jeans jacket, that's what they're referring to. And then not to give things away for the person who's not ready yet. But in Chapter 3, they're going to talk about a switchblade. Do you guys know what a switchblade is?
Yes.
I know.
What
It's
is
the
this?
one where is it that one or is it the one where you clip it?
Let me show you.
You have oh my god!
Oh my
So Switchblade is the one where it has a little button on the side of it, and when you need to do the quick stabbing of someone, you hit a button, blade comes out, you go stabby, stabby. Yes, it's very real. Stabby, stabby. And then when you're done doing your stabbing, you hit a button and a little spring.
Is that a part of the magic?
Normally you have to push it in and then it locks. The problem with Switchblade is, one, they're illegal now because apparently the popos frown on you stabbing people, police. But the other issue was, with this type of Switchblade that shoots straight out, boys tended to have them and they would keep them in their pockets, and boys tend to roughhouse with each other, and it's all fun and games, and so your friend goes up and like kicks you, and you're like, ha ha! And it takes all the fun out of things. So they got rid of this kind for a long time.
And then they have the
Why do you
flop.
have it?
Why do you have so many? Is that one a comb? Is that one a comb?
No, this was a comb.
I
And
was
so
right.
they have what's called a rainbow blade, where instead of shooting straight out, the rainbow blade, which makes it sound pretty, you hit the button and it comes across like a rainbow. And then that way when you need to do stabby stabby, but the joy was, with it in your pocket, when your friend kicks you, it doesn't shoot into your leg, because it would instead get caught into your pocket and thus save you from getting maimed and stuff like that. And so yes, I have the one that's, you need to do like a quick...
Can I use it?
Yeah,
I feel like Reese's would use that one.
It's a real comb.
Keep
Can I
that
use it real quick?
No, you have lights.
And then, since I have kids who ask, there is the difference between that one and what's called a butterfly knife. And the butterfly knife does not show up in Outsiders, but I have kids who always ask. It's the one where it has the two blades that flip around along those lines. This one is just, it's a practice one, so you can't hurt yourself. It's what you see in the movies when you have like the thug who's like, I want your money! And they do a little stabby stabby, and then you have to flip it around like that and then close it. It's the same idea.
You're good though.
Butterfly knife, because it's supposed to look like a butterfly wing when it like flips around and looks all pretty, and the person's like amazed. You're like, I'm gonna stab you. Like, oh, like, win, like, oh, I'm gonna get you. Like, so then you get them like that. So that's butterfly knife. Google.
I'm confused. So in the book, Pony Boy keeps referring to the jacket as Dally's jacket, but it says in the book that it's the other guy's.
Yeah, Bucks.
Yeah.
I know, but it's because Dally gave it to him, even though Dally just... I mean, Dally claims a lot of stuff that he just sort of takes from people. And so, yeah, Dally was like, here's a jacket. It's not mine. Mine now. Now it's yours. And so that's just sort of how things work. They're very fluid in their ownership of things. It just seems whoever touches it owns that thing. So, yeah, you're like gypsies.
Wait, so if you touch a house, you're
Apparently. That's how it works. You have the first one, 1, 2, 3, ah! And you just have to grab the house like that. But then you have mortgage payments. It takes all fun. So anyway, I wanted to cover those points to try and help you out. Tomorrow, we'll talk about the things that happen with the whole stabby, stabby, bleedy, bleedy, and stuff like that. But now, for things to work on today, you can either read Book Report book, or if you have finished the book, you can work on project. Outsiders novel, you're welcome to. If you want to work on the audiobook, that is fine with me, but you have to have a book that you are following along with. I have colored pencils over yonder. If you are wanting them, that is also fine with me. If you are big kid points, if you have over 20 points, you may move to a different seat as long as you are reading book. If you are not reading book, you cannot move. Now realize, if you go sit next to a person and make poor choices, I drop hammer upon you, so choose well. If you have over 40 points and you are reading, you may sit on ground as long as you go over to edges of room and don't lay right in the middle where kids have to step over you. Again, you have to be reading. You can't just sit there, lay, and make poor choices. Move!
So are we allowed to read a